Hello and welcome everyone to this week's webinar. I hope you're all having a fabulous day today. My name is Holly and I am here with Start Digital. Today we will be going through the online reputation checklist. So how to manage and improve your brand image. Brand image and reputation is so important in today's day and age. Obviously with everything being online, you really need to focus and prioritize on making sure your business is reputable. It's a little bit different if you do have a shop front and people only know you from passing the door. People know that you are a reputable business. Whereas online, one of the biggest things is you want to make sure that you don't come across as a scam. And also with online reputation, there's kind of two parts to it that we will go through. There is making sure that nothing bad happens, you don't get a bad reputation. And then there's also the second part, which is if you do end up getting a bad reputation, what are you going to do about it and how are you going to fix it? And you always need to be prepared just in case if that does happen. So we will be going through both of those parts with you today. So let's get started. So your online reputation can make or break your business. And I think that is something that we do unfortunately see time and time again. You could be the most successful business on the planet, but unfortunately, some bad reviews or a bad day can mean that your reputation is damaged and it can be extremely difficult to come back from. And we see it all the time with businesses that unfortunately have one bad review and it gets shared and shared across the world. And unfortunately, they can't come back from it. So we do want to make sure that that doesn't happen to you guys. So a little bit about us before we get started then. So for Start Digital, we aim to improve businesses through our online training portals, our webinars, explainer videos, networking events, industry updates, and staff training. So think of us a little bit like a business personal trainer. So we provide you with the resources and the systems that you may need, and we also give you a little bit of a push when you may need that as well. So people always or tend to always know the right thing to do. They know that they might need to post on social media. They know that they might need to respond to certain emails, but they just either don't have time to do it. They feel like they don't have the resources, or they just need a little bit of a push. And if that is you, you should definitely get in touch with us because we are here to help. So we do have some contact details on the screen there. And we'll leave it up for a little bit more time, just in case if you want to take a note of that. Okay, let's get started. So today you will learn how to audit your online reputation and identify any areas for improvement, actively manage and respond to customer feedback, implement strategies to boost your brand's credibility and trust. So we do have some quick stats here on the board as well. So 93% of consumers read online reviews before making a purchase, and businesses with a 4-star rating or higher earn 30% more revenue than lower rated competition or competitors. So we have a case study here, and we do try to include a case study for every single one of our webinars. So luckily we do have one today. So a local cafe had been thriving for years, but after a series of negative reviews, business started to decline. The customers complained about slow service, inconsistent quality, and poor communication on social media. The cafe's Google rating dropped from 4.5 stars to 3.2 stars, and foot traffic decreased by 25% over 3 months. So the strategy that was used was Google and social media audit, which we will go through, responding to negative reviews professionally, improving customer experience, building a stronger online presence, and encouraging more positive reviews. So more positive reviews is something that I think every business does need to improve on a little bit more. Unfortunately, people forget that businesses are just people and everyone has off days. So again, even if you are the most successful business in the world, it is likely that at least 1 or 2 customers will have a bad experience of you. And I'm sure we all know that people can have a great experience with you time and time again, and they'll never leave a good review. But people will have one negative experience, and you best believe they'll be leaving a negative review. So encouraging as many positive reviews as you possibly can is extremely important. Okay, so the results from the strategy then was Google rating improved from 3.2 to 4.6 stars within 6 months. Customer engagement on social media increased by 70%. Sales grew by 40%, as foot traffic recovered and surpassed the previous levels, and customers started recommending the business more, leading to organic word of mouth growth. And as we all know, word of mouth growth is the most powerful growth. So the more you can do to get more of that, the better. So I also want to think about, when was the last time that you checked reviews before making a purchase or hiring a service? For me, I know I check reviews pretty much every single time I try something new, even if someone has recommended it by word of mouth. For me, I just love to read the reviews, and I always, always, always go straight to the one-star reviews if there are any, just to see what negative experiences people did have. But that could just be me. So, step number one on our checklist today then is to audit your online reputation. So I'd like you to start by Googling yourself and your business. So as a business owner, you need to remember to Google yourself as well. Your business might have a good rep, but you might have a bad rep, and therefore it does impact the business. So search the name. First of all, is your website showing up? If not, that is an SEO or a search engine optimization issue that needs to be addressed. And does any old information show up? So check your Google My Business. Is the right address on there? Is it old? Is the right working hours on there, or is it old? Negative reviews as well, or do any irrelevant results appear? And we will go through what to do if that is the case. So another thing that I think a lot of people do forget about, but it is really useful to do, is check the people also ask section. So I've included a screenshot on the screen here. So when you search something into Google, and it's the same with Bing or Yahoo or whatever other search engine that you may use, there is normally something that looks like this, is that people also search for. So it's the recommended searches. So have a little look at this section, and you can see I did this for Start Digital as well. So see if any searches mention your business. And are there any common misconcerns or misconceptions about your industry or your business that you can address? So if there are any common misconceptions, so this can be anything that you find in reviews from the Google My Business, or in the frequently asked questions section, this is a great opportunity for you to create some content and set the record straight. So for example, if trying to think of a good example, so say if you are hairdressers and people were maybe a bit confused about the booking system, or maybe you work in a certain way that other hairdressers don't work in, and that's led to some bad reviews, or it's led to some questions where people are a bit concerned. This is a great opportunity for you to create content to explain yourself first and foremost. So you can post this as blogs. You can add in frequently asked questions or an FAQ section on your website, or you can post some educational content about it on your social media as well. So what this does is, any of your current customers who might be a little bit confused or concerned, it can set their mind at rest, and can also be really, really helpful for any future customers or clients as well, because they'll be able to see that content, and they'll therefore not have that misconception when they interact with your business. So next, what you should do is check your online reviews. So check your Google My Business reviews, Facebook page reviews. That's one that people always forget about. So if you do have an Instagram page, you more than likely have a Facebook page as well. Normally they are interconnected. And because a lot of people, a lot of business owners especially, might not even know that they have a Facebook page, you may realize that you have reviews on there that you haven't even looked at. So that is really, really useful to take a little look as well. So there's also things like Trustpilot, Glassdoor, TripAdvisor, and like Amazon reviews if you sell any products on Amazon as well, or anywhere else that you might sell products. So there's Etsy. If you're selling food, there could be some on Uber, on Just Eat, things like that. So just make sure that you are looking at every single possible place that people can leave reviews. So if you have a look at your reviews and they're all good, what do we do then? So we leverage these reviews in your marketing reply, first of all, and thank them for their support. Display the review badges on your website. So this is when you might see, for example, on a website, a TripAdvisor badge, and it might say like 5-star TripAdvisor, or there's also one for Trustpilot as well. And then also look into creating a referral program for happy customers. That then means that you can get more and more happy customers as well. And also make sure that you leverage them in your marketing. So if you do have any positive reviews, always make sure that you maybe create some ads out of them or some social content as well. So on the flip side of that, then, if they are all negative or a lot of negative ones, what do you do? So first and foremost, we need to analyze the common themes. So again, is there something that people are getting wrong? Or is there somewhere or an area where your business is actually failing? So that can be something like customer service, it can be delivery times, it can be opening times. There can be so many things that people might have a common complaint about. So you can't have a good reputation if there are ongoing issues in your business. So it is important to address these issues as quick as you can. Some issues you might not be able to address, and you might just have to hold your hands up and say, listen, we're not great at this area, but we're really good at this area. And a lot of people will respect that. So also respond professionally and proactively. So the professionally side is really, really important. I've seen myself so many times when I've looked at a business's reviews and a customer's review seems like it is genuine. It doesn't seem like it's someone just complaining for complaining's sake. And you can see businesses that respond in an angry tone or a nasty tone, and that just it can turn people off from your business. So make sure that you do respond professionally. And also encourage happy customers to leave reviews. So that means drowning out the negativity with positivity. It doesn't work 100%, but it can work a lot better. Some people don't, like me, sit through and read all of the reviews. They might just look at the overall rating. So if that is the case, then just getting some more positive reviews will improve that overall rating in the end. So, step number two is to check your social media. So search, first of all, search your business name into social media sites. So this is platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. So first of all, with social media, you want to know, what are people talking about? So if they are talking about your business, what is the sentiment? Do they seem really happy with it? Are they annoyed at something? Are they confused about something? Are they concerned about something? And also, are there any fake accounts using your brand name? So if there are any fake accounts, make sure to report them first of all and make your customers aware. So normally if there are fake accounts, the reason for creating them is to try and scam your customers. And it could also be people who aren't even part of your customers yet. So if you do let that happen, then people may think that is genuinely your business trying to scam them. So you need to make people aware if there are any fake accounts of your business first and foremost. And then also, if you do find conversations about your business online, treat them as reviews and respond and engage accordingly. So if they're having a positive conversation, get involved, say thank you, maybe offer them a discount. And if they're having a negative conversation about your business, again, it's probably the best thing that you do get involved and you ask them a few questions, maybe see if you can have a private conversation with them and to get to the root cause of their issue. So the next thing that you want to do on social media is check for consistency. So what to look for when you're looking for consistency then? So consistency across your online representation builds trust and credibility. So if your business name, your contact details, or your branding looks different across different platforms, so this is all social media, but also your website as well, customers might feel a little bit uncertain about your legitimacy. So even small inconsistencies can impact your search rankings and customer trust. So for example, if you've just got a brand new website, you've got a new logo, you've got some new colors, everything looks fabulous on your website, but your social media site still has an old logo and is falling short a little bit. People may be unsure as to maybe what is the real you, and therefore may refrain from buying from you in the future. So just make sure that there is credibility and there is consistency across every single place that people could possibly find you. And also, again, things like business details. If you do have a business address listed anywhere, make sure that it is the same address because I know time and time again there are fake businesses out there that just put any old address on there. So making sure that you have the same consistent address all over the place means that you do seem more reputable. Okay, so step three, and probably the most important step, is to create a crisis management plan. So the things that we've gone through so far are just a few little tips and tricks that you can do to ensure a positive representation across online, but also in person. But if something does go wrong, what do? You resort to your crisis management plan. If you don't have a crisis management plan, then you're already having a crisis. So it is something that is so integral and it is so important, and I can't stress that enough. So please, please make notes for the last remaining slides. So the aim of a crisis plan then is to be prepared, not panicked. So if there is something that happens in your business, you have direct instructions to follow and you know what to do. What this also means then is if something does happen that affects your representation and you're not prepared for it, a lot of the times people can react emotionally to it. So that means that when you're responding to a review or you're responding to feedback, you let your emotions get the best of you, and therefore you can leave something angry and maybe a little bit bitter, that can even more negatively impact your business. But if you do have a plan and you are prepped for things like this, it means that you're less likely to respond with emotion or frustration, and you're more likely to just follow the steps that you need to take. So what are the steps then? Step number one is monitor and identify issues early. So you need to make sure that you are on the ball, which is why we've gone through the first half of this webinar. If you are constantly checking your reviews, you're constantly in the know about what conversations are being held about your business, you're less likely to not realize an issue. So you need to make sure that you're constantly monitoring. I would say daily. If you don't have the time, every other day or weekly, depending on how many reviews you do get, will do the job. So you also want to have a clear response plan as well. You want to respond quickly and transparently. You want to control the narrative, and you want to review and improve your strategy. So you might have not had a crisis that you'd have to manage before. You create a basic management plan. Say a crisis shows up, you might find holes in the plan that you didn't think of previously, and therefore, if that does happen, you need to look back and think, okay, what could we have done differently, and what should we include in our plan next time? So, number one, as we said, we do need to check our online presence regularly, but also to identify any issues early. Something that you can do is set up Google Alerts for your business. So what this means is anytime that someone mentions your business name, you do get alert or a notification about it, which just means that you're keeping on top of everything and you know every conversation that is being had. Also, regularly checking review sites and social media mentions, as well, having a look at your tagged images and stuff like that as well can be really useful. And what I would say is also searching your name in platforms and I've completely forgotten the name now, but where people have like conversations about different things. So, say, for example, if you are selling makeup, you want to search your brand name in like makeup forums and things like that, just to make sure that there aren't any conversations there that you're missing out on as well. So also have a process for team members to report any potential reputation issues to you. So this is something that you need to train your staff on, make sure your staff are aware of this. And therefore they know that if they see anything that could damage your reputation, they report it to you straight away. Okay, so have a clear response plan then. So what does this mean? So first of all, you want to designate a spokesperson for your business. So this can either be yourself or it can be somebody else, like a team member. Again, if you are someone who maybe yourself doesn't have a great reputation, it is best to have somebody else potentially in the business that can do this for you. And this is for public responses. So if the crisis is something that is so big where you might have to put a face to the name, you might need to get on camera and you might need to to speak to, a news outlet or something like that, this person will be in charge of that. It may be also a PR person that you have on your team, or it can just be someone with a good reputation. So, as well as doing that, you want to create a response template for common issues. So, if you have any negative press, if you have any service complaints. So, a lot of these you can find online. You may also want to ask ChatGPT, but you need to make sure that it feels personal to your business and is really transparent. So, one of the reasons why we haven't included an example of this today is because sometimes if things do seem a little bit staged and not as personal as they should be, people can see straight through it. So it is important for you to come up with something like that either with yourself or with someone close to you that you can use the correct wording that you would genuinely say. Um, and most importantly, stay professional, factual, and solution focused in all of your communications. So, again, don't let your emotions get the best of you. You might be angry, you might think the customer is wrong, but unfortunately, as they say, the customer is always right. Um, so, you do need to make sure that you are staying professional and you are trying to fix the problem rather than just complain about it. Okay, so respond quickly and transparently then. What does this mean? So you want to acknowledge the issue without making any rush statements. So as we said previously, don't just respond with emotion. Also apologize if that is necessary, but focus on solutions and corrective actions rather than just saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So again, if there has been a mistake made, try and address the mistake, maybe explain why it happened and let them know it's not going to happen again. And also take the conversation offline when needed. So this is a little bit similar to what we said about if you do see any conversations happening about your business online, instead of just getting into the conversation, it's probably best to leave a message on there and saying, listen, we'd like to speak to you one-on-one. And then you may see a better response from that. And also, when it says taking the conversation offline, even a phone call or something like that can be more helpful than just messaging. Because I know myself, and I'm sure you know as well, if you're in a bad mood and someone messages you or they email you, you automatically see their response as moody or a bit different. Whereas if you're in a good mood or you like the person, then you might see their response as positive. So it can be really, really useful to either pick up the phone or if you can have an in-person meeting, that's always best. And then also control the narrative then. So although you want to address the negative situation, you also want to stay in control. And obviously, as a business owner, control is the most important thing. You do want to make sure that you're controlling everything around your business. And I know there's a lot there, so it can be quite difficult. And I know a lot of businesses feel like they're not in control, but control is something that is extremely, extremely important. So, some ways that you can control your representation then, or reputation. So share positive news, testimonials, and success stories to balance out any negative coverage. So use your website and your email list and your social media to clarify any misunderstandings and reinforce trust as well. So again, as we mentioned before, say for example, if there has been a negative review, just let all your customers know, listen, this is the situation and this is what happened. And if the crisis is severe, consider a press release or a formal public statement. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this is not something that you guys will have to deal with, but it does happen. And you need to make sure that you are prepared for that just in case. And then again, review and improve your strategy. So after handling a crisis, review what went well and what could be improved. So I'd recommend doing this quite far after the crisis has happened because you don't know when it's going to crop up again. So it could be within 3 to 6 months after the crisis has happened. So you want to have a little look and think, okay, well, what did we do well? Did the crisis go away? Is it something that's affected our sales? Has it affected our reputation? For some reason, I'm really struggling saying that word today. I have no idea why. But yeah, if you have seen like a drop in your sales and they haven't recovered, it's very likely that there's something that's not really quite right with your crisis management strategy. So you might want to have a little look and see if there was any holes. Was there anything that you did that then got more negative press? or more negative feedback? And if so, avoid doing that in the future. And also adjust any policies. So, for example, if you got bad feedback for, let's say an employee left something bad or negative on Glassdoor, was it because of the policies that you had in place for your employees? If so, you might want to address the policies and adjust them where they may be needed in order to help the positive representation or reputation. I don't know why I can't say that today. And then also look at your customer service processes. See if there is a genuine complaint. If people have complained, it could be that something does need fixing, or any messages to prevent further issues as well. Okay, so that is everything for us today. So we'll just quickly go through the checklist just to make sure that you do remember everything, and I hope you have written everything down. If not, we can send it over to you as well. So number one is to Google yourself and your business. Number two is to check your online reviews. Number three is to monitor your social media conversations. Number four is to search for fake social media accounts. Number five is to check for consistency across all platforms. And number six, which is the most important, is create a crisis management plan. So there we have it. So if that has resonated with you, if you do feel like you are out of control with either representation or you are struggling with certain things that we have mentioned, what I would recommend is please, please, please get in touch with one of our specialists and we can see how we can support you with that. This is something that we do see businesses struggle with time and time again. Sometimes they're so focused on the day-to-day operations of their business that they fail to have a look back and they fail to have a look at the reviews and to see to really keep an eye on the reputation, especially if you don't have a PR team. Whose job is it? And if you don't know whose job it is, it's likely that it's no one's job. So we can help you facilitate a bit of structure and a bit of control in this process. So once again, just a little reminder of who we are. So we are Start Digital and we aim to support businesses through our online training portals, our webinars and our explainer videos, our networking events, industry updates and staff training. So our contact information is there for you on the screen. Again, I will leave it there a little bit longer, just in case you do want to take a little look at it. And yeah, we've got our Instagram there, our phone number, our Facebook, our email and our website. So if you do have any questions, please let us know. And I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day. Hope you get going with your crisis management plan. And I hope you have no crises today. So have a fabulous day. I'll see you all next week. Goodbye.